Welcome to Blind Level Tech. I'm Jonathan Price.
I'm Evan Starnes.
And together, we're bringing you news, tech, and information about blind technologies.
Being blind doesn't mean you have to stop living.
We're going to show you just how possible it is to live the life you want.
Hello, listeners, and welcome to an episode of Blind Level Tech. Well, I should say welcome back to Blind Level Tech. I am your co-host, Evan Starnes, still in the AINC studios. It's actually been a really cool day today. Alex brought her dog in, and so I've had some nice, I went and got to pet her dog in our control room cave for a bit. But this is a really cool episode today. We are going to be talking about headphones and various things that you can use to listen to audio and music and how that can be made accessible. And of course, this is our, joining me today is the host for the most, Jonathan Price. And how's it going today?
Hey guys.
Yeah. What's up, Jonathan? How's it going?
Good.
What's new?
Good. Nothing new really. I'm enjoying, I've been playing around with my new mouse, and I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago. I got a new Logitech MX Master 3, and there is a lot of functionality that I didn't know about when I bought this thing, and I have been able to customize it because I do a lot of audio engineering, a lot of audio editing, and that kind of stuff. I have been able to set it up. You can set it up per app, different buttons and clicks and gestures per app. So if there's something that I'm doing in like Logic, I can use the scroll wheels in a different way that makes sense in Logic. And then I can switch over to RX, which is my audio, like actual physical file audio editing suite. And I can have a whole other customization. And once you move the cursor from one app to another, it automatically detects what you're on. And it's just crazy. And it automatically, everything switches on the fly. It's super smooth. It's super, this is probably one of the best tech investments I've made in a very long time. So I'm very happy with it.
You get macros. That's the thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just love it. I absolutely love it. And then kids were on spring break last week. And so that was, I'm just going to leave it there. You know what? It's what it is. Working from home and having your kids around, it's such a blessing and it's a curse at the same time. But no, they're always at each other's throats and they're trying to kill each other. But I love them. They're a blast. And I think later we went to Chick-fil-A and let them play around the play place while I did some work.
Get some energy out.
It was good. Oh man, got to. And fortunately, we live in a good neighborhood where they can run up and down the street all day long, and I don't really have to worry about them. I said it's kind of like back in the old days where we could run around and drink from the hose and go ride our bikes for hours and hours and hours on end.
Go inside when it's dark.
Mom just said, "Be home." That's right. Go inside when it's dark. So yeah, it's been good. It's been good.
Yeah, honestly, mine's been about the same. Definitely. I hope you guys enjoyed the plot twist here. I don't usually start the show off, and I'm a little new at it, but it is a lot of fun to actually get some practice in, especially for hosting. But my week's been pretty plain and boring, and spring break has come and gone, and it was great. And it's actually going to be probably the last spring break for a bit because I'm almost done with college for a while because yeah.
Nice.
And there's going to be some celebratory stuff going on. We might even, Jonathan, I might bounce this idea off of you. I think it would be cool to have a celebratory episode of BLT where we just kind of, it might be a bit of a long one where we just kind of hit record.
Wait, we just celebrate your college accomplishments?
Yeah.
Is this how this is all about the
And all
show?
I talk about is my audio gear and you talk about your audio gear and we just geek out and have a good time. And I think it's fun occasionally to have just an episode where we hit record and we kind of just let our brains do the show, But
I mean, kind of like what we're doing right now.
That's what we do. This is the fun part about this podcast is we just hit record and we don't even have a script. We just we just go around and
we do have a general topic and then we just bounce ideas off each other.
That's a great segue, by the way.
We're weird.
Just saying.
Bouncing topics off each other. Yes, that is a good segue.
I feel like a lot of people have been waiting on it. So, a lot of blind people, if you're familiar with, using your phone with voiceover and stuff, headphones might be a very important tool in your toolbox, because if you're out in public or if you just want to listen to music with good quality, they're important because, you don't always want people to hear your voiceover but you also want to be able to hear what's around you. So that's what we're going to talk about today is what is the best solution to where you can hear your devices privately while also being able to stay aware of the environment around you. And I'm going to really focus a lot on bone conduction headphones, but I figured I'd first just talk about headphones versus earbuds versus bone conduction. And we actually talked about this a couple episodes ago. So like headphones, you have over the ear and on ear. Over the ear are nice because they go around your ear and they're a lot more comfortable. And you have any combination of, wired versus wireless versus ones that plug into your computer's USB port. I mean, there's just loads of different kinds. And in fact, the pair I'm wearing right now in the studio are over the ear. They're just JVC. They're kind of cheapos, but and then you have the on-ear, which they're if you like your ears to sweat and you love ear fatigue, then get a pair of these because you'll only be able to enjoy them for about an hour and then you're going to have to take them off.
Yep.
But they are cheaper and they sound all right. But over the ear, I've noticed you get a better bass response. And then you have your category of earbuds, and earbuds can get really complicated nowadays. Yep. You have your just average wired earbuds that plug into your phone. You have wireless earbuds, which have like a wire between them and like a little controller with a battery in it for Bluetooth. And then you have something called truly wireless earbuds, which are like AirPods, and they go in a case, and you have one bud and another bud that go in your left and right ear, completely separate units. And so that's basically the gist of it. Now, as far as what do I use personally, I use pretty much nothing but AirPods, and I use the AirPods Max when I'm at home, and that is Apple's over-the-ear headphones. They're like $500, but oh my gosh, they are the best sounding headphones I think I've ever used. They have really good what's called lossless audio, what's called a lossless audio codec. So if you're listening to music or whatever, it's gonna sound to the human ear as good as it would if you're listening to it with wired headphones. I mean, it's really hard to notice that you're using wireless. They also have a really good transparency mode. So there's a button on the AirPods that you can hit that will basically turn on. There are 3 mics on each ear cup, and you can actually basically hear everything around you. And my girlfriend has a pair of these, and the dude at the Apple store basically called them bionic ears because it's like you're not wearing them at all. And inversely, they have a noise canceling mode where, like, if you're on an airplane or if you're in just a noisy environment and you just want to hear your stuff, it will filter out 98% of what you hear. And I mean, it is crazy good. Like I had it in noise cancellation, and I was like trying to like make some like clicky noises or snap my fingers near my head, and I couldn't hear anything. And it was like wearing earmuffs, like the big Mickey Mouse ears that you wear when you're going hunting. Yep. And I actually wonder how effective wearing those around like gunshots and stuff would be with noise canceling.
Actually, I've used the AirPods specifically for going out and shooting, and they do actually handle pretty well. The battery goes down really fast, and so you're only able to use them for maybe half an hour, but they do work in a pinch. And so it's not actually all that bad. So I would recommend them if you're in a pinch to as the noise canceling, because noise canceling, if you don't know what it is, it broadcasts the same frequency of whatever sound is coming in. So it projects that sound out in terms of frequency response. And so that's what cancels the noise. If you have 440 hertz coming in, it broadcasts 440 hertz going out, canceling whatever noise is coming in.
It's called phasing,
which is why
almost.
that ambient mode, right? Yes. And so, which is why the noise cancellation or the
transparency mode
transparent mode works so well, because it takes that air that's being blocked going into your ear and allows that sound to come in through basically reprocessing of the microphone and the sound coming in.
Yes.
So you're able to hear.
Let's talk AirPods Pro really quick too. I do want to talk about these because I personally am holding in my hand the AirPods Pros the second generation AirPods Pros. Now, if you're looking for a really good pair of truly wireless earbuds that sound amazing and that have really good transparency mode, like almost comparable to the AirPods Max, and really good noise cancellation, you need a pair of these in your life. What's cool about these is that they have a little speaker in the case, actually on the bottom. So if you lose your AirPods case, you can actually find them. And what's even more cool about these too is that because they have a speaker, they're accessible. So like if I put these in pairing mode, you can actually hear it, which is really cool. And so you know exactly what you're doing. You know when they're paired to your phone. You know when you're charging the case because it makes a little ding. You know when your case is about to die. And these, why go with these over the AirPods Max? Well, they're portable. The AirPods Max, they're big, bulky, clunky headphones. These AirPods case, the case itself is about the size of like a Altoids container. I mean, I can carry it in my pocket. You can even hang a lanyard from it and like put it on your keys or your backpack. And these have really, really good battery life. You actually get 24 hours of battery life in the case, and these get 8 freaking hours of battery life. And I can attest to that with noise cancellation and or transparency mode on. Because keep in mind, if you turn that off, you will get longer battery life. But I was able to have these in for an entire day watching movies and hanging out on Discord with some friends, and they died. I put them on at 8 in the morning, and they died around like 7 p.m. So these are just, oh my gosh, they're my favorite earbuds. So they're around $250.
Well, not to mention they've got you also have got that touch control with volume up and down swipe.
Yep. And you can customize on the AirPods Pros too. You can customize the transparency mode too. So if you're not hearing enough of your environment, you can actually enable a thing called headphone accommodations under accessibility and hearing or audio/visual settings. And you can adjust how loud your transparency mode is, how bright the sound is, so like how clear it is. If you're hard of hearing in one ear but you're not in a different ear, you can actually kind of balance it to just fit your needs. So these things are these are just what I would recommend. And if you have an iPhone, you can even have Siri read your like text messages and notifications and respond on the fly. And yes, you get that touch control. You get a clicky control too that you can press on the little stem of the AirPod to play, pause, skip tracks, go back tracks, and you can press and hold them to change noise modes. So from transparency to noise canceling, or you can have it activate Siri, and you can change all of that. So these things, I can't stress enough. Like if you have an iPhone and you want good audio, buy these. You will love them.
One thing that I also want to add to that, and I don't think you talked about this yet, but the adaptive transparency, which reduces noise at about 48,000 times per second. What it does is it reduces loud noises like the sirens or power tools, or if you're in construction or a fire, anything like that. It automatically adapts and changes to that loud environment. Which can be also really beneficial for concert settings. If you're at a concert and the decibel levels get too high and you want to protect your ears, instead of wearing like the little
earplugs or those stupid little things,
earplugs, whatever, like these would work really, really well for a concert setting, especially in those louder environments. So, that's one thing. If you are like me, I am so concerned about protecting my ears because, this is my job and I'm always trying to protect my ears. And so I try not to be in environments as much as I can that's louder than about 100 decibels for a long period of time. And so, these would be really, really beneficial for me in that case. And I have the AirPods Gen 1. So I really enjoy them. That's what I'm wearing right now. And so, the new active noise cancellation, the
transparency,
there's just so transparency mode.
And the fact that you can lose your case and find the case and the buds completely separately is so huge because I've lost my case multiple times.
Yep. The only thing I'm really curious to see, because my AirPods fall out of my ears so easily, regardless of the little
tips
cone thing on it. I really want to know if these are going to stay in my ear better. It doesn't look like from the shape or design that they will, but I don't know. We'll figure that out and see.
They actually added 2 extra sizes of ear tips. They used to, for the AirPods Pros, they had 3 sizes of ear tips, and now they have 5. So, and there's also an ear tip fit test options, and it works all right. So if you're like wondering if if you're making a good seal, you can actually test that from your iPhone.
Yep. So it'll be interesting to get my hands on some of those new ones and try them out. But yeah, I enjoy my AirPods. I can't wait to get some AirPods 2. And it'll be an interesting
and let
feature.
Me just make something very clear here, because we're talking about the AirPods Pros. They actually are still selling the original AirPods Pros. Now, the difference between those and the Pros 2 that I have, the case doesn't have a speaker, and they're a little cheaper now. The case doesn't have a speaker.
Right.
The noise cancellation and transparency is nowhere near as good. You don't get the touch control, so you can't swipe the stem, and they don't have the adaptive transparency mode. And so I just really want to make that. Now, there are AirPods, and we're on AirPods 3. Now, if you just want, a good pair of earbuds, you don't want to mess with ear tips, you don't need that transparency mode, you will be able to hear through these. They are what's called open-backed. So you'll put them in, but it's not going to really isolate any of the sound around you. And they don't have the touch controls, but they do have the clicky stem. Those run about $130. So you can get the AirPods 3s if you want if you just want like good sound, but you don't want any of the bells and whistles.
Right.
No speaker in the case though. A cool other thing with the AirPods, the new AirPods 3 and the AirPods Pro 2s and even the original AirPods Pro is that you also have wireless charging in the case, so you can actually like put it on a charging pad, or if you have the AirPods Pros 2 and you have an Apple Watch charger, you can charge it with your Apple Watch charger. So yeah, plenty of reasons to get those.
I love all the integration between the wireless charging and all the devices, so it'd be nice not have to carry around bricks and cables
anymore.
Talking
of integration too, if you are in the Apple ecosystem, don't worry, Android, you'll get some love here in a minute. But yeah, if you're in the Apple ecosystem and you have AirPods, they are iCloud synced. So that means if you have your iPhone, your iPad, your watch, your Mac, anytime you switch over devices, you can switch over with your AirPods in, and they will just stay connected, and it's seamless.
Yep.
So it's all a part of that one big lovely ecosystem. Android though, Google and Samsung do have competitors, and they are pretty good. Transparency mode wise, they're not as good, but you have your Google Pixel Buds, and those are pretty nice. They have the Pixel Buds, I believe the Pros or the Studios. I forget which ones. But those are Pros. Those have really good sound. I believe they have Dolby on them. They have semi-decent transparency, and they have touch like pads instead of clicky stems or whatever. So it's a lot of swiping and tapping on the earbuds to control them. And they do come with a nice little case. The case does not have a speaker. In fact, The only wireless earbuds I've seen with a speaker in the case mainstream are the AirPods. So, and I've actually that's a feature I've wanted for a long time. There are also Samsung's Galaxy Buds, and those are also a good competitor that, like I said, nowhere near as good transparency mode. Excuse me. Same touch control as the AirPods, or not as the AirPods, the Pixel Buds, where you have little touch sensitive little like pads on the outside, and you swipe and touch to skip tracks, change the volume, what have you. No speaker in the case of those, but the case is wireless charging, and it's a cute little case. It's actually kind of like an oval shaped, and it's a little smaller than the AirPods case. And that one also, the Galaxy Buds, if you have the app, they also have an option where it will read your text messages and notifications to you, similar to the AirPods. So it's just depending on if you have an iPhone or not. That's what you should go with. I do have one final recommendation, and this is good for both platforms. If you are an Amazon lover and you are a lover of Alexa, Amazon makes their Alexa or Echo Buds, and I have the original pair, and they came out with the Echo Buds 2 with the wireless charging case, and those are nice. The transparency mode again is not. Let's just be honest, AirPods Pros 2 have the best transparency mode out of any truly wireless earbuds, period.
That's true. I agree. Yep. Fully.
But the Amazon Echo Buds have Alexa built in. So if you install the Alexa app and you set them up, and it's basically like wearing Echo speakers in your ears, and you can access anything from all your podcasts to your favorite skills, including our skill, including our live skill. And you can basically anything you can do on Alexa, you can do with these buds, and they also have touch controls, but they're pretty nice. It's you can customize them to fit your needs. If you want to be able to like single tap to pause or resume your music, or change the transparency mode, or activate Alexa, or double tap, you can change that. And you can also swipe to change the volume, and I believe to even skip tracks. So that's another good option, and they're actually really cost competitive. I think they're a little over $100 for the Echo Buds 2s, and they actually have Bose active noise cancellation, and it's good.
That's a pretty good. Bose has always been known for noise cancellation and having really good cancellation features, and I think they're right on par with the Apple stuff.
Yeah. So that is actually my I'd say I'd put the AirPods Pro 2 in first place, and then I would go with I'll try to not be biased, but so I'll put the Echo Buds in second place, and then the Pixel Buds Pro in third, just to make it easy for some people.
I would agree with that. If we're talking just purely in-ear AirBuds or
earbuds,
in-ear monitoring.
Yeah. Because we already talked headphones. I'm going to jump ship here, and we're going to talk about non-earbuds, not even headphones. We're going to talk now about bone conduction headphones, and these are special. The best ones that I know of are from a company called Aftershocks, and the latest ones that I've seen are the Aftershocks Aeropex, the Trex Aeropex, and their Trex series of bone conduction earbuds headphones have been around for a while, and basically bone conduction headphones are headphones that don't go on or in your ears. They actually sit on your temples, and they vibrate, and the sound gets transmitted through your skull through vibrations, and it feels really cool, and sounds really cool. It is really trippy. I'll definitely say that. And the use case for these really is if you're like outdoors a lot, or if you're in an area where you can't risk transparency mode, or you need to 100% hear everything around you. That's the use case for these. And Now, as far as audio quality, I mean, you're not going to get any of the punchy bass or whatever. You'll be able to listen to music, and it won't sound bad.
Right.
It'll actually sound pretty good, but it's not going to be near like what you get with in-ear headphones. But like, if you're walking around and need to be able to hear your GPS or whatever, you will totally be able to do it with these, and they get pretty loud compared to I have the Trex Titaniums, which are pretty old and they're a little more bulky. But yeah, the Aeropex are very light and very small, and they're also water resistant. So you can take these out in the rain. I wouldn't go swimming with these. I wouldn't go swimming with any earbuds right now. I can't recommend that. But yeah, they're water resistant. They're really good for phone calls, so you can easily take phone calls, or Zoom calls with them. You can use them with Siri or Google Assistant, and yeah, they're kind of like if you do a lot of navigating or a lot of just listening to your phone, or if you want to have an audiobook in, I would recommend these. And they're a little over $100 on the website. I think you can get them on Amazon as well, actually.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I haven't seen them on Amazon. I know they started around $79 for the Open Move, which is not bad. And then they go all the way up to I think $199 for the OpenComm UCs, which are both USB-A and USB-C compatible. So if you need to get those charged up, yeah, like you said, waterproof. Most of these are going to be water resistant in some way, shape, or form. So yeah, I think these bone conducting headphones are really, really cool.
Yeah, and highly recommended. No noise cancellation or any of that to worry about. But and then one final type of listening device that doesn't include like assistive listening devices are the glasses. And so I'm going to talk about the Bose frames because I've played with them and I know what they're like. The Bose frames are expensive, by the way. I think they're about $200, but maybe a little more or less. But they are basically a pair of sunglasses with speakers in them, and what they do is they funnel the sound into your ears, and it sounds really good. I mean, like I said, you're not going to get super thumpy bass, but it is definitely more than adequate to hear your phone, hear an audiobook, podcast, even some music with them. And so if you like those and you want to, and you just kind of want to be able to walk around and they look a little more aesthetically pleasing. I would definitely recommend those.
Yeah.
So,
I know Oakley, when I used to be a sales rep for Oakley, we used to have these, and I forget what the model was called, but they had headphones that were attached to them. They were Bluetooth headsets, but they had the headphones connected to them. So you could use your phone and it didn't have any of it wasn't waterproof by any means. And you couldn't, so I mean, even if you were out in the rain, you may be, shocked to find that it didn't work. But water getting in the device and all, but they were actually really nice. I had a pair for a while and it was fun to be able to, use those. And, when they first came out, getting phone calls in stereo was super weird. Because most everybody was used to taking a phone call, with a phone up to their ear. And so receiving phone calls. Right. Yeah. And so receiving a phone call in stereo mode, that was a little trippy and to get used to. So, but, those were great. And I love the evolution of, glasses like that into what the Google has, and now even with Apple coming out with their Apple Glass and the wearable like screen technology, there's so many things that are coming out in terms of making things accessible. What do some of these accessible why would somebody need to have these headphones in order to help them in their accessibility journey?
Honestly, just for like convenience and privacy, mainly privacy, because If you're in an Uber or a Lyft, or you're in like on a bus or you're in a public place and you're trying to hear voiceover, it can be a little hard to actually put your phone speaker up to your ear and be able to hear what you're doing, and other people can hear that. And that might be, some people don't mind. I don't know. Some people are okay with their phones being super loud. I am not personally.
It can lead into a lot of problems.
Yes.
Sometimes if you're in a medical environment, if you're in an emergency room or a doctor's office or dentist office or getting your taxes done, I mean, there are some things that you just don't want people to get a hold of, or you want to have those private conversations or those private messages and make sure that you're just being protected all around. It's another good way to advocate for yourself and protect your personal information. So these are some of the things that, we kind of recommend just to keep yourself safe.
But yeah, that's why I recommend using these. So you can actually totally go into like a Best Buy, or I think they're at Target, but mainly Best Buy is your best bet. And you can actually play around with these glasses. You can play around with the AirPods Max. There are other wireless headphones that are really pretty good too. Sony comes to mind when I think of them. Like Sony does make a really good pair of wireless headphones with a really good transparency mode in them too. But they are cheaper than the AirPods Max, but you don't get that integration that you would get with AirPods Max, but they're good.
Well, and don't forget about Beats. Beats has been around for a long time, and they've got some
good stuff.
In-ear integration as well. Now they're super thumpy on the bass, so if that's all you like is bass,
if you're a bass head, get
and
Beats.
you're not. Yeah. I don't like it. I like my audio to be, a nice, well-rounded audio spectrum, but that's just because I'm an audio nerd.
Too. That's why I don't like Beats, just because of the way they're equalized. But they are nice-looking headphones, and they do have really good noise cancellation and semi-decent transparency mode.
Yep.
And then it's harder to check out earbuds because they don't want people sticking them in your ears, but you can see like a demo unit of like the Galaxy Buds. You can see the Pixel Buds and what they look like. I don't know as much about if you can see the AirPods Pros too. You'll just have to take my word for it. But
well, on AirPods Pro, they have a ton of information on their website, apple.com. And then you can also do a ton of reviews on YouTube, Google, all that kind of stuff. So don't hesitate to look up YouTube. YouTube University, that's just the jam.
And there's loads of good information. So yeah, if you're still not confident with what you want to buy, definitely go and check that out. Now I feel like it's a good time to transition to the tech tip, and this tech tip is regarding privacy. If you're a voiceover user, you might not know that there is actually a really handy way to hide your screen. So if you're using headphones and your screen's hidden, nobody's going to know what you're doing on your phone. This feature is called Screen Curtain, and it's really cool. So if VoiceOver is on and you want to enable Screen Curtain, you can do a 3-finger triple tap, and VoiceOver will announce Screen Curtain on, and your screen will be completely blocked out. It's off. There's nothing on it. Of course, the touchscreen and everything else on the phone still works fine. And when you turn VoiceOver off, your screen comes back on. Of course, if you want to turn Screen Curtain off, you can do 3-finger triple tap again to disable it. But that is a really, really good, important privacy feature, especially if you're totally blind.
Very cool. Thanks for that tech tip, Evan. Nice. If you have, we'll put links to everything that we've talked about in terms of headphones in the show notes, along with that Aftershocks, the bone Aftershocks. Yep. So we'll put those in the show notes as well.
Yeah, definitely. We know it was a lot of information too. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to Jonathan or myself. You can find me at Evan, EVAN, at AINcolorado.org. And you can reach Jonathan, JONATHAN, at AINcolorado.org. And if you have any suggestions or you'd like to be on the show or you have any tech questions, you can always go to AINcolorado.org/podcast-guest. And there you'll be able to, give us any suggestions or requests for future episodes or any tech questions you have. That they all go there. And definitely check out some of our other shows. We have now Navigating Life with Vision Loss with Kim Wardlow. Great show if you're blind and you just want to know everything from transit, how to use public transit, to how to cook in the kitchen accessibly, or how to cook for blind people. It's a great show. Great, and even if you're not blind and you're curious about what it's like to be blind, I mean, there's blind and sighted people alike on that show, so highly recommend. Check out After Sight with Bill, or After Sight. Actually, yeah, check out After Sight with Penn Street, our first ever original podcast, which is taken off and is one of our most popular shows right now. You get to hear all sorts of stories from like dozens of different people that have had to navigate the journey of vision loss, and really, it's just a good. You know what? It's a good eye opener. Okay, let's go with it.
Good eye opener.
If anybody has a offense with that, well, I'm sorry. I don't have time.
Email Evan, EVAN at AINcolorado.org.
Yeah. I'll do what I can for you, but
you'll take the brunt of that.
Yeah, absolutely. That was my thing, but definitely we're just Penn is just an amazing interviewer, and there's loads of guests. I've been on that show. We've had some blind skiers, musicians, hikers. I mean, it's just a really cool and amazing show. Blind Sight with Bill Lundgren is also another great recommendation. And if you're struggling with mental health, or you just want to or you need some tips for somebody else, or you just need to know what it's like for, to be blind and to be, navigating depression or suicidal thoughts. We've all had everybody has had one or at least one mental health experience in their life. And this show is, of course, hosted by a licensed psychotherapist. And he has all sorts of different therapists and people that have been through different experiences. So definitely would recommend that you check that out and give it a listen.
Yeah, well, thank you guys so much for joining us. Evan, thanks so much for kind of taking over this show, and great job with all the the research and the information about headphones. I think there's so many cool things about tech, and obviously we're going to be around for a while to explore all this. So, like Evan said, listen to all of those shows. If you have any questions, again, that feedback line would be great. Rate us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. We'd love to see that 5-star review. And yeah, we'll be back next week. And next week, we're going to be talking about everything Apple accessibility specifically. We're going to go through some of the accessibility features that you need to have, especially going through your vision loss. And we want to make sure that you understand perfectly what you are signing up for, what you're getting into, and how to navigate with those. So there's going to be a lot of tech tips. We're going to try to go slow, so this may be a multi-part episode, but we'll try to make sure that we cover all those bases. So for AINC, for Evan Starnes, myself, Jonathan Price, thank you so much for listening. We will talk to you next week.